clearly, the Democrats are turning good immigration policy into election fodder for the November upcoming election. But let's look at what we learned today. Let's look at what we gleaned today from the Trump officials. Just a couple of three things here. One is that 53% of all unaccompanied alien minors fail to appear in court. 3% are removed, meaning 97% are not removed, and that there is a huge backlog of cases. Let's start with the first one. This is catch and release. These are the loopholes that I keep talking about on this program that the Congress has got to close.
It is catch and release. And look, this is the point, is that the Trump administration is doing the best that they can within the letter of the law to actually enforce our laws and stop catch and release. Look, the whole point, the Obama administration created this problem when they started doing catch and release via executive action and executive order. The Trump administration is cleaning that up, but it is Congress's problem. These are the laws that are on the books. If they don't like the laws, then they should change the laws. But the fact of the matter is that they can't change the laws. They've tried repeatedly to pass immigration legislation out of Congress, and it just fails every single time. And this is why the midterm elections are so important, is because, look, ultimately you have a choice here. If you're going to vote for a Democrat, you're voting for open borders, you're voting for radical leftist immigration policies that put Americans in harm's way. And we see this again with this catch and release policy, with these child migration policies. We see it with every facet of immigration policy. You see it with the refugees. We just had one person that got into the country in 2014 under the Obama administration that turns out to have been wanted for murder in Iraq in connection with his activity with ISIS, that posed as a refugee to get into the United States. It's the Trump administration that's cleaning this stuff up the best that they can, and hopefully the Democrats will stop their open borders radicalism. But as we see the Democrat Party lurch further and further to the left, they aren't doing that.
Yeah, no, but the 3% actually deported, this is the amazing figure to me, because, you know, these are not the people who are applying for asylum the way they should be applying for asylum. These are the ones who are violating our border like a run-of-the-mill illegal immigrant. They're also dragging their children, or maybe they're not their children, along with them, which I think either way is tantamount to child abuse. But this backlog that they're complaining about up there on Capitol Hill, these senators, this backlog, who's to blame for that? Well, they're to blame for it, number one. And number two, who's paying for it? Well, you are, Matt. I am. Every other American is paying for this backlog. The staggering cost. And all of these agencies devoting all of their time for this issue, for people who have violated our sovereignty, who should be simply deported.
Yeah, look, and again, the 3% number, but also the number of those who fail to appear, that's also equally important here. Look, what happens is that many of these people, and again, this was a policy created by the Obama administration via executive action and executive order. Look back at the things called the Morton memos and other actions that the Obama administration took, right? What they did was they would take these people in, they'd give them a notice to appear 6 months, a year, year and a half down the road, and most of them just never show back up in court, because they never intended to do this the legal way anyway. And it's these loopholes that need to be closed, and it's Congress's responsibility to close the loopholes. And again, this gets back to why this midterm election is so important, and it's why it's important that people vote for Republicans and not Democrats, because if you're going to vote for Democrats, you're voting for this open borders craziness.
And these children should be treated no different than the children of criminal parents in this country. You know, they shouldn't get any, because by definition, I'm sorry, but I hate to sound callous, but that's what they are. But also by definition, again, I hate to sound callous, they're also criminals themselves, because they violated our federal law. They may be small, they may not understand what they did, but they are criminals. And so this nonsense that we're seeing on Capitol Hill is really, to me, from a constitutional perspective, mind-boggling. It's very, very difficult for me to wrap my head around it. Matt, thanks.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.